Okay guys, I'm just testing this out since I'm flying solo today and making sure, because it'll be me running everything. So let me just demo some stuff, play with it real quick. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me make sure. Hi Marie, hi Debbie. Can you guys hear me okay? Hi Evelyn. I'm just running a check right now. So Donna, yes, you can hear me? Thumbs up if you guys can hear me. Because my Kindle's telling me that there's no audio. So I just want to make sure. And I'm still trying to figure out the lag time. Thank you guys. Okay, perfect. That just means that I turned my volume down on my Kindle. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Valerie. I just went early. I was like testing my phone just to make sure everything worked. So I'm gonna be bouncing back and forth because it's just me by myself today. So you guys should see me now. Making sure that everything's ready to go. It's a little bit early. Okay. Double checking everything to make sure that it works. And getting everything ready. So I was just cleaning off my phone and I hit the live button and I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna jump on here a little bit early and make sure that you guys can see me okay. You can hear me okay. I'm going to close my laptop down because now it appears everything's working. Hi, Connie. Hi, Vi. I thought you weren't going to be here tonight. Or maybe you were, and you were just going to be watching here and there. Okay, so now you guys can see me. I'm going to lean over because in my lives, if you guys are just joining me for the first time, and I know it's been a while, we've been doing business classes now back to back for the last 2 weeks. So we haven't done a face-to-face for a while. So I generally put the camera behind me and then do a zoom up on exactly what we're working on. So I'm gonna be making sure that you guys can see everything from the right angles. Make sure that if you guys have any questions that I'm addressing those. And you guys already saw what we're going to be working on today, which is the I Need Vitamin C wreath. So this sign came from Hobby Lobby, I think it was last week, when Hobby Lobby had all their wood on sale. So I picked this up because it looked really cute. And that I also bought these ribbons that were super cute that I thought we could use in incorporating this with this wreath. So, with that being said, okay, Vi, you're going to be popping in and out. Perfect. Okay, hi Sandra. I know, I kind of popped in a little early because it's funny, there's 4 different clocks in my house and they're all different times. So, what we're going to be doing is 14-inch wreath frame. I'm turning down my volume so I don't hear myself speak in a delay. 14-inch wreath frame from Dollar Tree. You guys have seen me use these before. If you guys don't have them available in your Dollar Tree, remember, because there's a lot of new people that are joining our group this week, you can get these online by the case. They're $24 to a case. So it's $24 to buy a case of them, and most times you can pick them up for free at your Dollar Tree store. At least mine gives me the option. And it's not the closest Dollar Tree to me. It's probably a 7-minute drive, but it's still better than paying shipping. So I just make sure I run some errands on the way out there. So, hi Christine, hi Gail. I know you guys are new, Sandra's new. Hi Debbie. Hi Sharon. Okay, so what we're gonna be doing, the sign just does not want to stay at. 14-inch wreath frame. I did this all in white pipe cleaners. I probably should have gone in and done some with a little bit of tan, but I really wanted this to pop on camera. So as you guys can see, I have it pretty much laid out so that we don't waste time with you guys watching me do the pipe cleaners. This is our standard 14-inch wreath frame setup, doing either ruffles or curls or poofs on something like this. Although, I don't know, I'd probably want to go poofs a little bit bigger, but this would still work, this arrangement, how I have it set up. So these are spaced out about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, they're about 4 or 5 inches apart. And on a Dollar Tree 14-inch wreath frame, there are 6 sections where each of these spot welds will separate our wreath frame. So in order to properly make sure that our pipe cleaners don't come undone and they don't slide around, I generally recommend that you fasten together rails 1 and 2 together, just like so. And I put it right in between the middle of each section, so that on the inside there will be 6 and on the outside there will be 12. And then what I do is come back in and fasten 3 and 4 together. And I don't go all the way to the end of the rail. I just go right, I guess it's in between where I put my middle one and that rail. And then I'll do the same on the other side. And the reason why I do it this way, as you guys know, is that if you secure 2 together, they won't slide around on the rail like they would if I just, like I'm gonna do it right here and show you, no matter how tight I attempt to twist this, it will move. So that's why we secure 2 together. Now if you're working with a wreath frame that only has 3 and not 4, you would just do your middle one and wire 1 and 2 together, and then on your outsides you would wire 2 and 3 together. So do you guys have any questions at all about the pipe cleaners? Hi Kaylee, hi Dawn. Glad that we finally got you in. It has been a real challenge trying to get new people into the group. So glad you guys are all here. So no questions at all on the pipe cleaner setup? Give me a thumbs up if you guys are good. Now, is the view okay for you guys, or do you want me to go closer? Okay, so you guys are all saying, yeah, you guys are good on that. Don't need to be moving forward. Hi, Evelyn. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is show you the mock-up, and I always tell you this, but sometimes I don't even follow my own advice. My daughter and my son were here today, and they were watching me pull all this stuff out, and they were like, oh, you're making a wreath. Do you know what you're gonna do? And I was like, no, honestly, I have no clue. I have no idea. And running back and forth, I knew I wanted to do something with white. Let me grab all these. I have this royal blue with silver, like iridescent foil through it. And then I have the neutral. So when you take these 3 colors and you lay them, this is what I was doing in my craft room. I'll like take all 3 of these and put them together. And I was like, oh, those look really good together. I don't need to worry about doing like a whitewash, but I wanted to incorporate the tan as my neutral and have the blue and white be my main colors. So of course, you know, I'm like, do I do poof? do I do ruffles? Do I do all ruffles, ruffles with curls, ruffles with ribbons, ruffles no ribbons? So here is my mock-up, and this is kind of what it's going to look like by the time I'm done. So I'm going to be alternating like I did with the tea wreath, 3 different colors of mesh on the bottom, all cut to 15 inches, and then I'm going to come in and put alternating colors of curls on the wreath all the way around. And then as you can see with the sign, it should really pop. Don't know if I'm going to add any embellishments, but I brought them all out here just in case. I brought some seashells, I brought some starfish, I brought the pearls that you guys have seen me use. So we may or may not be adding these in. And the ribbon choices, see, here's that sign again, will be the chevron, it will be the anchors, it will be this navy with like a canvas burlap, and then a solid burlap, and we'll be mixing these up. And don't worry about dimensions right now, because I already have the materials list that I will post as soon as this video is done, which will give you all the dimensions for everything. But basically my half bows will always be 12. I was gonna do 12 inches on the ties, like this one's a 12 inch, and as you guys can see, it's really, really long. So I decided to shorten this one up to 10 inches. Yeah, Jean, definitely a little darker in color today. I don't have my studio lights on because we're focusing on the actual wreath, and I don't really have to worry about whether I am lit or I have funky shadows going in places I don't want to be seeing shadows. So I just thought the overhead light that my son was nice enough to install, I just turned those on, and we're just working in this area today. So, thanks Steve, you like the colors. Steve is in Washington right now. He'll be back tomorrow. He's been in Washington all week. So that's why I'm flying solo today. So what do you guys think of these color combinations? Do you think that this plays off on the sign pretty good? If so, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to put my mock wreath frame away, because that pretty much has laid out the blueprint for me on everything. Oops. And I have all my fabric pre-cut here for you guys, so you don't have to wait. I'm hoping, Sandra, one never knows. You know, you never know how it's going to look until you finish it. So I just pray that I pick out good color combos. It just seemed like it went together. Like when I walked into the craft room, everything just was like, oh, this would look good with this, and this would look good with that. So all the base pieces are cut from 10-inch Deco mesh. So these are 15-inch pieces, and then the curls will be 10-inch curls. And these were all new rolls. So this shows you about how much you'll have left when you're done, after you cut all the pieces for this wreath. So let me get back into my group because it kicked me out and I don't know why. Hang tight just for 1 second. This is why I'm so dependent on everything. Private group. And here we go. Okay, back in session again. Still have yet to figure out why my internet will keep going down. So we're going to scrunch and do ruffles all the way along the bottom, and I'm going to be alternating colors, so it'll be beige, blue, white in each of the pipe cleaners. Donna, I got the sign at Hobby Lobby, and I believe if you wait until next week, the wood signs will be back on 50% off, but I'm not sure. All I know is the schedule for florals and ribbons are every other week. So every other week, one goes on sale and the other doesn't. And now I'm gonna do the blue. And I'm just pulling the Deco mesh towards me in small little scrunches, and then I lay them face down in each of my pipe cleaners. So I'm laying them in the direction to where the tops and bottoms or the finished edges are facing the center and the bottom. Jean, this is, am I pronouncing that right? Is it Jean or Jean? How do you pronounce? I'm seeing it as Jean, but I want to make sure. It's a 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. So now I'm going to go with white. And there it just went, rolled right off the countertop. So all this Deco mesh I purchased at Craft Outlet. Don't you love the teal color, Donna? It is so amazing for the beach wreaths. It's gonna look incredible. I've got to make a couple of those. Jean. Okay, just French spelling. I wanted to make sure because I was like, I don't want to just assume and be constantly not pronouncing her name correctly. So yeah, back to the dollar store 14-inch wreath frames. These are all kind of getting in my way. Do you guys want me to zoom in closer on this, or can you guys see it right where it's at? What would you guys prefer? I want to make sure that it works for you. Lay it on the table, yes, with the cut side down. So if you can see this, Donna, or Victoria, this is how it was on the roll. So I lay it the opposite way it wants to roll, so it's easier to scrunch it. And then if you lay it this way down, it kind of helps keep all those cut edges from being face up, where they'll have a tendency of snagging on everything. Okay, so you guys say zoom in more. Okay, bear with me just 1 second. I'm gonna zoom in on my wreath. So it's just me. Oop. Okay. Does that work for you guys? I'm hoping it does. So let me go get the ones that rolled off my countertop. So that I'm back in play again. So again, now I'm doing white, and I just pull it towards me as I scrunch. Bow ties face down. I really should have probably opened all these up in the right way. So here we go. So I'm just laying them all next to each other, all facing in. Trying to get the other ones out of the way that should not be playing right now. And now I'm going to take my beige. These ones are easy because you can kind of see the path right up the middle that you want to keep it to. Okay, good. So this is a perfect view for you guys. Awesome. So much easier when there's someone else behind the camera than when you're doing it all by yourself. But I can do this. Yeah, right, Jean. This is like my go-to. It's my standby. You know why? Because it's affordable. Because I'm always looking about cost. So anywhere you can cut costs without sacrificing quality is going to benefit you. It's also going to benefit the customer, because then you can keep your wreath prices reasonable. So that's why I do standard 14. until I throw you guys for a loop and throw an 18-inch in the mix. Yes, Vi, I am doing inside and outside together. So I'm just going like, the next one's going to be outside, then I'll go inside and then outside. It just helps me to work that way so that they don't get stuck on top of each other, like trying to do all the inside ones first. It'd be different if I was doing the poof, but when I'm doing this method, laying them down side by side, it just makes for a nicer mix. And as you guys can see, the colors are really starting to come together. And that's what I wanted to see happen. I didn't want to do like just a solid beige base. I wanted to see the beige, I wanted to see the blue, and I wanted to see the white. So that's where the mock-up comes into play. So the mock-up gave me every single dimension I would need to make this wreath. So I'm just taking them and kind of fixing them as I go around, trying to pull the existing pipe cleaners away, taking the ones that I don't want to get in my way. Okay. So I'm back to blue. So I'm going to do my blue one. And it's just scrunching at the very end. It wants to roll underneath. So it just allows me to lay that perfectly in there. And I'm just twisting it like one time. Now I'm going to do white. So I've got my white. I'm going to lay the white inside. And then we're going to do beige. As you guys can see, we're almost done with the base. Beige on inside, white and blue on that side. No, Connie, I guess it kind of seems that way. I just started with one, and I'm just alternating them as I go together. Like, is it really turning out? Yeah, it is. It's looking like it is beige on the inside, just based on the way it goes. That was not planned. This is the way it turned out. Which I guess is good, right? I did not think about that, but great observation. Yes, Jean and Valerie, these are cut to 15 inches. And the reason why I cut them 15 is because they're the base. And if I cut them any shorter, the colors that I would want to come through just would not be there. They would be too sheer. So yep, now I'm back to white. And then I just have one of each left to go. So here's our white. It is like a zigzag pattern. I didn't even realize that was happening until Connie mentioned it. She's like, oh, well the beige are going on the inside. I was like, no. Yeah, I guess they are. You could mix it up if you wanted to. But I'm keeping it the same. So this is my standard that you generally don't see a lot of wreath makers do this, where they'll toggle their inside and their base deco mesh with 3 different colors. They usually just pick one and go all the way through it. But I like this in a couple of the wreaths that I had done. And like I said, I really wanted to see the colors not get lost on top of all the other ones. And we just did a poof on Sunday, so I didn't want to do another poof. So here's our last blue, and then we'll have our last white. What questions do you guys have about anything at this particular stage. Now is the time to ask, because you guys are not competing with like hundreds of other people. It's just the 26 of you and me, all in my kitchen together tonight. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And it's kind of funny how my lighting changes in here. So this is what it looks like, just with the base color laid in. So those are the colors we're going to be using. I like the effect too, Vi. Okay, so now we're going to come in and we're going to be alternating in. Generally the way that I do it is if I have a blue ruffle, I'm going to come in and put in a white and a tan curl. If it's a white ruffle, I'll put in a blue and a tan. And if it's a tan ruffle, I will put in blue and white, so that the colors continue to play opposite of each other. So now the 10-inch curl, or the 10-inch Deco mesh curls will all be cut to 10 inches. So I'm going to go grab those. Again, these were all pre-cut. So let me move some of this stuff out of the way, because I don't need it anymore. Jean, do you ever try to put curls and scrunches in pipe cleaners without tightening after each addition? Color changing is fine in our private group. What do you mean? Try putting curls and scrunches in pipe cleaners without tightening them. Do you mean like opening them up and adding existing ones to that? Victoria, how many wreaths do I make in a week? I was doing one a day, but now I am probably only doing maybe 4, because I do one in each of my group. So that's Monday, Friday, and Sunday. And then if I have custom orders, I usually try to save those for in the middle of the week. And this is where I needed my scrunchie. Grab my paper clip. So, because I didn't grab my Bodabra, I'm using a clothespin to hold my curls. And these were all cut with my wood burning tool, so we shouldn't see an awful lot of fray. Jean, opening them up, yes. So do I ever try sticking everything all together, like all in one pipe cleaner? You mean like do a ruffle and then throw 2 curls like all together, all at the same time? Or do you mean like would I take these, would I open this up and then add this to that? You could do it either way. You could do whatever your preference is, but look how much pipe cleaner I still have left. And I know I have more than enough for a ribbon and a half bow. So I don't, because there's not a need to do that, but you could. I know I've done it really quick when I'm doing a mock-up and I don't like the way my mock-up's going. I'll pull everything apart all at the same time and kind of stack it all together in one pipe cleaner. So this is blue, so now I'm going to add a beige and a white. Absolutely, Jean. Great questions. I probably would if the pipe cleaners were not long enough. If I was working on a prefabbed wire wreath form that you would get at Hobby Lobby, the ones that have the wires or the tinsel ties already on them, I probably would open them because they seem to be a bit smaller. So knowing what I'm already going to be putting on top of these, I would probably run out of pipe cleaner length. So as you guys can see, I'm doing like 1.5 twists. So now, and I'm just going in that same direction I was before through every pipe cleaner. So here's my white, so I need blue and tan. Jane and Diane, wood burning tool. I got mine through Amazon. So if you go to the Kats Creations main page from a laptop or a home computer, because it's the only time the tab exists, it doesn't exist on the mobile app at this time. You can, on the left-hand side where it says like about, discussion, members, things like that, videos, files, go down towards the bottom, and I think it's like the third tab from the bottom, and it says welcome. If you click on that, it gives you everything that I have ever ordered off of Amazon, and my wood burning tools is in there, the one that I got. You don't have to use the one that I purchased. I think mine was about, I want to say like $23, and it comes with like all the tips. So if my tip burns out, I have additional tips. It has a stand, but you can just use a regular old soldering iron too with just a straight tip on it. That's just my recommendation. So I would get basic wood burning tool. And hey, you never know, you could give it a go at wood burning if you decide you want to wood burn a sign. You can't really do that with a soldering iron. Victoria, this would be the perfect wreath for a first time wreath. If you go back and you watch my video that I did with my friend Jackie, this is the exact wreath method that I used and I taught her to do for someone just starting their very first wreath. She had never done a wreath before, but we all know that the ruffle is the easiest. And then the curl, depending on your Deco mesh, is like your next level of difficulty in wreath making. So now I'm doing beige and white. Yeah, Victoria, this would be called ruffles and curls. Now I'm doing beige and white. And I like this look for either a beachy or a water wreath. Something where you want an awful lot of volume to it, because as you can see, the base is just that. It lays a really nice even base down, and these curls are all going to keep popping to where these things will eventually, they remind me of like, I forget what they're called, like little duster anemones, the little things that would just pop out, the little feather dusters. Connie, no, you do not need a wholesale ID to buy from Craft Outlet, which is so nice. I think for the majority of the Deco mesh that I purchase is between $3.95 and $5 a roll. Unless I want something like higher quality, then it'll probably go up to like, I think the highest that I've ever paid for a Deco mesh roll has been like $8.95. But that still beats all the other places. And it just rolled the wrong one. Just gonna set that one there. Yeah, Steve's multitasking from his hotel room in Washington, so he knows most of my stuff. So it has to be done from a home computer. You won't see the tab if you're doing it from your mobile device. And that's just the way that it's set up that way, to link everything directly. But hopefully it'll be changing. So now we are in the beige. So we're doing white and blue. And if you guys ever need a tip on how to do your curls, if you have a really low basic Deco mesh, just fold the first part of your curl and then roll it. So fold it and then roll it. And then you kind of want them to kind of spring open a little bit on the outside. You don't want them to just lay perfectly straight. This kind of gives them some character. As you can see, that one just kind of popped back. And I tie them in there pretty good. I really want them in tight. So now we're doing beige and white. Jean, yes, this one will have a bow. So it kind of needs it because the sign is so small. That's what was throwing me, is it's not my standard size sign. It's a lot smaller. I think it's, I want to say it's a 7x7 or an 8x8 sign. I will measure it and let you know. Okay, so we're adding this one. And we're coming around. So now we're white, so I need blue. But why does it seem, I guess not. It just seems like I'm gonna come up short on my Deco mesh, but I won't. I trust my measurements. So we're doing white, so beige and blue. Any questions you guys have on anything? Sometimes it's a challenge to find your pipe cleaners. Okay. So now we're back to beige, so it's going to be blue and white. And I keep looking at this wondering, did I really, like, I'm looking at this going, I think I'm about halfway, and why do I feel like I came up short? But I know I counted correctly. I know I followed my directions clearly. If not, you guys will get to see me do my wood burning tool. Okay, let me leave this one in here. I know I'm going to come up short, and I'm wondering why that happened that way. Let me go grab my wood burning tool because I will need that. Okay, so let me set this here because something tells me I am definitely coming up short, but I think it might be because I used 2 in my mock-up, and I don't think I counted them. So we have beige and white. Karen, the zigzag ribbon came from Craft Outlet, and so did the little boat anchor. The blue and canvas ribbon came from Michael's at Christmas time. And then the burlap came from Hobby Lobby. No, Vi, I'm doing curls everywhere. But it's weird. I think my calculations were off, so I will have to go back and recalculate that on my instructions, because I think I only cut 8 of each, and I should have cut more. I can dismantle my mock-up. It'll only save me 2, but I think I'll, I don't know, sometimes I like my mock-ups. But I will. I'll steal from them. Because all I do is dismantle them and then I throw them in my scrap pile of, these are extra pieces left over from mock-ups in case I need, like, I'm just missing one. So here's my beige. So I'm missing 1, 2, wow, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. So that tells me I need to cut a little bit more. So let me go ahead and cut 3 while I'm waiting for this one to heat up. It takes just a little bit to heat up. I am going to cut my burlap because you can't cut this with your wood burning tool. So I know these only need to be 10 inches. So here we go. We'll cut 3 of each just to be on the safe side. So 1. You just don't want to stay. 2. And last one. There's 3 of those. I find if you put a rubber band around your Deco mesh rolls, then they don't come undone and they won't really fray too crazy. So wood burning tool. So you take your tempered glass, and for me, I put it right, the edge right on the 1. And then here's my 10mm line. So you guys didn't know you were going to get a wood burning lesson too. And pull this all the way, making sure my bottom line and my top line is right at the 1. So I want to make sure. There you go. So I'm going to find my line. And I'm just going to stay through it. And remember, this is just now getting hot. So there's my first piece. So here's my second piece. It'll get better the hotter the glue or the wood burning tool gets. So there's 2, well, 1 more to my 10. And all I'm doing is staying inside one of those rows, not on my 10 line. There's that. Which materials cannot be burned with a wood burning tool? Anything that has a natural fiber in it. So like you saw the poly jute mesh, that is a mixture of jute and burlap. So because it contains natural fibers, it'll burn more than it'll cut. So you don't want to do that. So any of the Deco, poly Deco mesh works out perfect. And you can see how quick this goes. It's the little foil pieces. And the last one, just like so. Okay, it would help if I actually held this the right way. Just like so. And then I unplug it and move it far enough away that I will not burn myself on this. And I'm just going to take this and put this right behind me. Just like so. Now I should have more than enough to finish. So I will bring this back over here and then pick up where I left off, which is white and blue. So now you guys saw, have you seen either navy or white small rolls of burlap? I only saw red. It depends. I think it depends on the season. Most of the time, who said that? Jean. Most of the time I've seen them in a couple of different colors. I don't know if I've seen navy though. I think right now I've only seen like a powder blue. like an orange. I don't think I've seen a navy yet, but that would be something you would check through craft outlets to see if they can carry. And so now I have this one down here. So this is going to be white and burlap. Pam, you use a metal roller and run the tip down the roller. It does, but if you notice when you're burning or cutting Deco mesh with the wood burning tool, if you stay in the row, it'll make a perfect cut. Because if we try to do it with the rotary cutter, they don't come out straight. They come out kind of wavy. There's never really a perfect cut. Okay, so now I'm doing white, which is this in navy. And I think besides deconstructing my thing, I should have enough. 6. I was trying to think. 6 times 2 is 12. I hope I cut enough. We shall see. See, if Steve was here, I'd just be like, babe, cut me some extra. I don't know why I factored that wrong. I think I did something different. So now I need blue and white. And we're almost done. Blue. See, you guys are great answering each other's questions. That is so amazing. Because like I said, you guys have seen me say it countless times before that I'm all about building our community. It's all about, I think that was my motivational post today. It's all about building each other up, not stepping on each other to get, to claw our way to the top. So this is going to be beige. So I'm going to take these ones apart because I have 2 left. Oh, here it goes. Tears. But these are the exact ones I need. So these go in here. And the other ones go on the other side. So I'm going to have to make some adjustments on your guys' material list so this does not happen to you. Hi Sharon! We have just laid a base of 15-inch ruffles, alternating colors between beige, blue, and white. And I am just going to sit this guy in here while I make his cousin really quick. He's right here. And then we have completed the ruffles perfectly. So now I'm just going to open this one up and tuck the other one in so that they are complete. So this is what it looks like with the curls done all the way through. So what do you guys think? I'm trying to hold this up in the right camera angle, making sure you guys can see it. Awesome. Okay, so we're moving on. So let me just double check the dimensions of the sign. So 23, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.5, or it's like 7 3/4. So 7 3/4 by 7 3/4 is what our sign looks like. So remember, if you guys haven't ordered business cards yet and you're selling, get yourself some business cards. They don't have to be super elaborate, just something that has your name, your contact information on it, so that your customer is able to contact you should they want to order more. That's always your goal, is to have a repeat, loyal, lifetime customer, hopefully, that will order all their stuff from you. So this just makes it easy for them to have. It's part of their wreath, and then all your information is already there. So I get mine through Vistaprint, and I get about 500 cards for about $20. So, and they're all like high, I don't know, I just took the wreath image that's on all of my stuff. So it's just keeping everything consistent. So, this is always your challenge. Do you put it in the middle? Do you put it off to the side? I'm thinking I'm going to put this one off in the middle, and I might do a bow here, and I might do a bow here. I might do a double bow, so you might get to see two. What do you guys think? Middle, two bows? What do you guys think? Middle? Yeah, I agree, Jean. Matter of fact, let me go grab my staple gun and my bow maker. Okay, staple gun. So let's attach our sign so we can see how much ribbon we're going to need. And I'm just going to set this to the side. And I'm going to grab my pipe cleaners. So this sign is a little tricky, but it's not impossible to do with your staple gun. So on a square box like this with a very thin border, I generally will put it in the corners. So I'll start this corner, fold it, and I'll put a staple or two in the bottom corner. So here's my staple gun, lining up my staple so you guys can see. So I'm just going to come straight in, just like that. I don't want to staple on top of my other staple. There's the second one. So I'm just going to twist, flip it over. Trying to get these to lay flat. I'm trying to get it to where you guys can see. Okay, go up here. I don't know why this sign is not, it's not level. It just wants to wobble. So there is my sign. And there went my cats, who clearly don't like that sound. So I'm going to come back in, and I'm going to try to get my little curls out of the way so that our sign is embedded in there. I'm going to pull these guys out. There we go. See, it's nestled inside. And then I'll take my pipe cleaners and feed them through my Deco mesh. And I'm trying to get them to go through two of the rails. So let me flip this over. So as you guys can see, this is through, it's now, I'll be securing them through rail 2 and 3, right next to a weld. So just lightly, till I bring it up, pull these ones out of the way, make sure all my tubes are out of the way. There's another one. And then feed this down. I think I got that one. This is where you're basically blind until you turn it over. And then hopefully, like we did here, now this one's going between 1 and 2. So it allows me to twist 1 and 2 together. And then I bring it back and just double check and make sure that it's centered. Make sure that I have all my little hoops out of the way. There's one underneath there. You can kind of tell by where they're at what's hidden, what isn't. So there is all of our stuff. So there's our sign. Trying to make sure you guys can see it clearly. So our sign is done. Trying to make sure. Can you guys see that? Okay. It's so hard to sit here and do this by myself, but it's okay. I can figure that out. Okay, now we're gonna come back in, and I'm just gonna start ribbons on the outside only right now till I figure out how many of the ones in the center are impacted by the sign. So we're gonna be alternating a burlap with a chevron, and then the canvas with the anchor. This looks better that way, because this is a very busy pattern. You could do it the other way around. That's what it would look like if you did this one, and then this is what it would look like if you did that. I think I just liked it in my mock-up. The busy chevron just went with something kind of neutral. So we're gonna put in one 10-inch tail. So we fold them in half. We pinch them together. And we're gonna lay that in on top of our pipe cleaner. And remember, the ones on the outside, I fan to the bottom, but you don't have to do that. And these are 12-inch half bows. Again, fold them together and then pinch them together so they look like a little chevron. And you will put those on the inside, and you're gonna twist them about 5 different times and then fix your bows just like so. We still have this here, but that's okay. Remember, I tell you never to cut them off until we completely get to the end, just to make sure if there's any last minute changes we want to make, we can make it. So now I'm going to switch on the outside and do it's like a canvas and a navy together. So just like this, and I have my anchor. So these are still from my mock-up. So just fold them together. And the loops are about 2 inches. 2 inches with a little bit longer tails. And you'll kind of tuck those inside. Make sure that it doesn't want to flip. 4, 5. And I usually give them about 5 good twists, just in case this will be the end to what I want. Because I'm kind of looking at, if I put one here, this will be where my bow is, so I might skip this general section, because if I want to put a bow there, it's just going to cover up my ribbon. So I'm going to go back this way and keep going around this side. Yeah, I see Steve's already answering all these questions. This is my staple gun is a Black & Decker Power Shot, and I think we got it at Lowe's. I know we did not order it on Amazon. I wanted it because ergonomically it's easier to push down using the whole weight of your upper body than to try to pull up. It's easier in your hands that way. So not chevron, we're doing anchor. Anchors away. This would make a cute, it's a totally nautical themed wreath. Even the anchors would be cute on a navy wreath too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I always count to make sure I put 5 in there. So I'm almost positive I'm gonna cut these off, so I'm gonna probably start cutting them now, so you guys don't have to watch me go back and recut. My toolbox. So regular wire cutters. So I'm just gonna come in, I'm cutting these right where they're twisted, and then I'm taking them and pushing them back behind the ribbon, the one on the top. So like this one, it's already been twisted, cutting it right where I twisted it, pushing it all the way behind so that pointy edge is all the way behind. Here's another one, all the way behind. And then it's a nice feather effect when they all fan out from the bottom. So we're back over here. Wow, that one seems like it went way too short. I think I cut that one without even realizing it. So here's what you can do. You take your pipe cleaner, and you're gonna go back in underneath all of this, and you're gonna bring it back up. You're gonna retwist it, so it's all still there. And then I'm gonna come back in and put my burlap and chevron. So fold, pinch, stick it inside. Put a couple good twists on that one. So this is what happens if you get any work frame wreath and you come up short on a pipe cleaner. You can always go back in and add it. Here's my chevron. Gonna pinch it together. This is almost like a canvas. It's very thick. And let's see, I think these came in 10-yard rolls, so that's 30 feet of ribbon. And I am thinking these are about $3.95 a roll. For Craft Outlet ribbon, which is really good quality ribbon. So, I already said I was gonna put, I think I'm putting a bow here and a bow here. So I'm gonna skip these locations and I'm going over to the next one. Just because I'm gonna put a bow there, I don't wanna cover it up. So here was canvas, so burlap. So back to burlap. Do you guys see what I did? Why I skipped those two locations? Bye, Diana. So there's that one. Not this, we go canvas. So I'm gonna put this in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cutting it, just like so. Bending it behind, fanning out your ribbons. You know what's really cool is if you guys start getting into the process of filming your own lives, when you guys are ready to do that, it's so nice when the customer can actually purchase a wreath, but then they get to go back and watch the video of how that wreath was made. It's kind of cool for them. So now I'm doing canvas. So this is going to fan out this way. This is so much easier for me too, having you guys like right here next to me, because then I don't have to be working on that side of the wreath. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Snip. Push it behind. Fan it out. I just like these colors. To me, these are, I think, the epitome of a nautical theme anyway. The burlap, the navy. So this is an interior one, so I'll worry about that in a second. So we've got burlap and chevron. Christine, why are you gonna take yours apart? What did you do that you're liking the way these ones are? There, just want my seashells, because this wreath is pushing everything that way. wish you guys were all here. Could you imagine if we were all in one location just making wreaths? How incredibly cool that would be. Like, not all the same wreath though. I think I would want us all to be doing something different. Although I am going to plan something similar to that for the end of April. I'm going to give you guys like just a generic parts list, like go get 1 roll of 10-inch Deco mesh in red, white, and blue, so 1 of each, so that we can do a patriotic wreath together. Oh, you made the 2 ribbons flat? You might need a little bit longer for the one to do a half loop in. I just think that if you do the 2 ribbons, you almost need something. To me, it's just like, it's a pet peeve of mine. It's just like if I put a ribbon in there, I just think that it needs something. But it doesn't always. I just think it needs something. There's like, it's just saying, fill me with something. But that's where you could do stuff like have flex tubing. You could put some flex tubing in there. You could put a seashell in there. You could put a starfish in there. So, depending upon what is your wreath, Christine? Is it like a spring wreath? What is your theme? What is your color? Looking. I know. Could you imagine like having a wreath maker's thing? You guys all have to fly out to California. Or we could meet in the middle. Someplace in the middle. And then just do wreath making. It'd be nice to do something like that for like a big, huge fundraiser. Like for cancer awareness. Or to help a family in need. To do a raffle. So I've got a couple more of these. So this is our beige. Remember, we're not putting anything here because that's our bow. Jean, you're funny. Wreath making weekend. That would be awesome. I think that would just be so much fun. Steve, are you up to having about 20-something people like taking place in our home? I think we could fit them. We could do that. So 1 more, and that's perfect because it turned out exactly perfect with the amount of ribbon I had cut. I've got 2 extra, but it came out of our, whatchamacallit, our mock-up. So I'm just putting the last one in and then we'll make our bow. It is a beachy wreath. You could do that one. To put, yeah, you know that teal that everybody is like going gaga over? Just substitute the navy blue and put teal in. Which I may or may not be doing later tonight. Working on a wreath for somebody special. They don't know. But they need it. So there's that one. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the inside, the couple pipe cleaners that I have. I think I have like 6 maybe. And I'm just going to cut these off. So here's one that I can see. And push him down and fluff him up because the bow's going to be right there. And I'm going to do the same thing here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Some of them I will not be able to get to because they are now buried beneath my sign. Just like so. Just like that one I can't reach. That one is way underneath. So So I have 2 more. So 2 I was unable to cut. So they are impacted by the bottom of my sign. So I just take them, flip them, make sure all their curls are where they need to be. And I think there's 1 more right here. And I'm going to cut this one off, and then we'll do our bow. Because I have all my bow stuff here. This is probably the least prepared I think I've been, because I thought I had it all together, but obviously I didn't. So this is what it looks like before we put, move this stuff out of the way so you guys can see it, before we put our bows on. So we're going to be putting a bow here, and we're going to put a bow right here. So I'm going to take this and move this to the side so you guys can see the bow making. What do you guys think? Thumbs up? Like? Hearts? Okay. Okay, I'm going to move this over here. Move all my supplies to the side. And you guys know I like my bow dabra. Yes, I have done the Pro Bow, but I can do these much quicker. And I thought we would, see, I'm looking at the canvas. The burlap is very thick. I might just do 3, like these 3 together, and just really pop that navy in. And kind of, there's a little bit of the canvas, but I think it'll be easier to work through in a bow if we do it this way. So I'm going to do the chevron at the bottom. Let me plug my glue gun back in so it's ready to go when I'm finished. So I'm going to dovetail cut my ends, which just means taking wire edge to wire edge. And we're going to cut from the fold line to that point at a 45-degree angle. Exactly like that. And these are my handy dandy Betty Crocker sponsorship plug scissors. So, I don't know, is Betty Crocker even still around? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 loops on each side, so it'll be a 4-loop bottom, and then I'm going to come in and do 4 with these, so it'll be 2 on each side, and then the same with this. So, Jean. I know, Kathy, there's a convention. I didn't go, you know why? Because I'm too afraid to fly. I should have gone. I should have signed up to do that. I let fear intimidate me and not do that. But I know there'll be other ones. So that's okay. So I laid this down. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a 5-inch tail. So the way I do my bow dabra is I have my loop started here. So right side facing up on the tail. Then you twist it to where you have the wrong side facing up here. And then as we flip it over, it's going to make that first loop. So we're going to take it and twist it and stick it in our bow dabra. So now we've got wrong side facing up. So as we bring this around, we untwist it. Here's how it's going to make that loop. So we're going to twist and then put it back in. And then this is where it'll give you a chance to make sure that your loops are the same size before you get gung-ho in here. So I'm going to take it, twist it, and flip it. And then, this is just how I do my bow dabra. I always flip it because it's easier for me to do it this way, so that I see the side that I'm working on. And no, I'm not left-handed. I don't know why I do it this way. So I have 2 bows here, 2 bows on this side with a tail, so I need my tail here. So I'm leaving my 5-inch tail. So I'll take the time and dovetail cut this now. so I don't have to do it later. So that one's done. Now we're going to do the canvas. So we're going to dovetail cut this one. So same way, wire edge to wire edge, and then we cut from the fold. Because we have our tail out here, I'm going to start our tail here. This one's kind of different because it's a thicker ribbon, but I still want to put a couple pieces of this in. Normally I'd probably put the 2.5 inch at the bottom, but it's going to go in between each loop. So taking, twisting, pushing it down and making sure my bows are the same size. Take, twist, push it down, making sure that they're same size. This will be the last one on this side. Take, twist, push it down, and then I'll have my tail. So I'll bring it out here, push this on the side, fold it in half, wire edge to wire edge, cutting on the fold. There's my tail. And then I'm going to come in with the last little bit of ribbon. Don't you like those scissors, Diane? They're like the bomb for cutting the most thick things without ruining your other scissors. So here's my bow, or the tail. So I'm going to put tail on this side. So I've got to twist this upside down so that the wrong side is facing up, so that when you twist and push it down, you're going to have your loops in the right direction. So take, twist, push it down, take it, twist it, push it down. Again, I'm taking my fingers and kind of putting them on both sides and pulling them. Like here, they're both the same length. So here's my last one. Take, twist, putting my fingers in the loops, pulling it, twisting this to this side, and cutting our tail. Dovetail, because it always looks so much more professional. It's like that finished look. So, have you guys ever wondered what this was? If you guys have a Bodabra and never really knew what it was for, what this does is you put it in between the little pieces that act as your fingers, and you rock it down, and what it does is it takes all your bow material and compresses it into a tighter pinch, so that when you go to pull it out, it's easier to wrap your pipe cleaner around. So I have my white pipe cleaner. So I'm going to take this out. That's what it all looks like, nicely stacked. So I'm going to take my pipe cleaner, turn it into a U, start at the top, pull it all the way down to the bottom, and then twist, twist, and twist. So that is your bow with the Bodabra. So I'm going to take this now, and I will fluff it actually on the wreath. So I'm going to bring this back over. So let me get one bow on first to make sure whether we even like this design. So we're coming in here. So I'm going to just simply take this last pipe cleaner that we had, twist this out of the way, fold that down. Now I'm going to come back with my bow, just like so, and I'm going to attach it right where our ribbon would have gone. So it'll take me just a second to get it through the Deco mesh. just like so. If you want, you can move your tubes to the other side so it's closer to your sign, because the tubes will move, you just gotta move them. But you wanna make sure, like right now, if you look at this, they're both through the same loop, like they're both in between 4 and 3. So I need to bring one of them underneath so that I can wire these two together. Otherwise they won't have anything to grip onto. So it's just like so. I'll move these guys out of the way. And then usually what you do is you start at the bottom. So it's going to be our blue chevron. So because you have it cinched in there pretty good, you can definitely pull those apart. So here's my tail. Here's my 2 tails, or loops. Then I have a tail for my canvas, my 2 loops. So I'm going to pull them in opposite directions, just like so. Here's my anchor. I'm just doing it on this side for now because it's easier to show you. So I have these 2. Let me go back here and move these guys around a little bit more. Pulling these 2 out to the side. Kind of want them to go in between each one of the bows that I have, so that they're kind of out of the way. And then these 2. And then put your fingers in them and start fluffing them. Because you don't want to see your ribbon folded, you want to see it nicely looped through all of these. So make sure you've got nice loops all the way down. Put your fingers in them and just make them nice and rounded. So I'm going to pull this one down. Pull this one. I want him over here. So you're going to go here. I'm just positioning the bows the way I want them to be, the loops in between my chevrons. And this is where you can spend a little bit of time fluffing everything. Fluff, fluff. It's a tight location to put the bow, but I think it needed a bow. So that's what it looks like. I'm trying to keep this down with our bow in here. What do you guys think? I'm not confident, Vi, in pulling my bows apart. It's just I know with this, if I don't like how it looks, it's not a permanent thing. I just take my pipe cleaner and I pull it out and I pull all the pieces apart and I just redo it. But can you guys see the bow? So there's that. So we're gonna add one more to the bottom and then we'll be done. Okay, set that on top. And like I said, I've been using the Bow Dabra. That's where I felt comfortable. The Pro Bow intimidated me like nobody's business. And I think it's because the bow comes out so completely perfect, like all the tails are exactly perfect, and then each layer above that is so perfect. I just like an imperfect bow. But it doesn't look that imperfect. So again, I'm going to come in. Here's the wrong side. I center this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's my 5-inch tail. Make sure that it's twisted upside down on this side. So twist and push it down. And I don't want a giant loop, but you don't want it to go any longer than your tail. So you just take it and twist it. And you can stand back and go, are these two the same? It's easier to tell, like when you stick your fingers in and judge it, you can tell whether or not your loops are the same or not. So twist, push it down. So once you got your base bow, all you're doing is just matching the bows on the top to the bows on the bottom, like this. They're exactly the same. And then add your tail. So these go really fast. The pro bow would take me, and I'll do the pro bow. I've got to get good at it. I haven't spent the time that I should in doing that. And I really should. So now we're going with our canvas, taking it, folding it, cutting the tips. We have our tie on this side, so I'm just going to start it over here. It's like it fits in the, I always get pro bow and bow dabra confused. With the bow dabra, it's easier to get it to fit in here if you twist it and then push it in. Just like so. Take, twist, push it in. Make sure your loops don't go any farther than the other ones on the bottom. And once you've got that, it's just like a model, a blueprint for everything else. So as you're putting it in, you just make sure you're not going any farther out. So it's just a twist, push it in. So I've got two loops, I need my tail. So there's that one. I just rubber band them all so they don't all come undone. And then the last one, dovetail. Dovetail this. And then we'll dovetail this. There's our dovetail. It's got to start on this side. So I've got to twist to get my piece started. Definitely don't want it sticking out any further than the other ones. So I'm going to take it, twist it, put it in there and make sure it doesn't go past the other bow loops. Twist it, stick it in there. Just take it, twist it. And I think I figured out why I move my bow dabra is so my ribbon doesn't get all twisted. So that I have this big, huge bundle of ribbon that I have to contend with. It's all done. Then I'm going to cut this off. Secure this back up. Put our pipe cleaner on it. This chevron ribbon I got at Craft Outlet. Sharon? Or Donna? This one, these two both came from Craft Outlet, and I think they're like $3.95 a roll. And remember, you don't have to be a wholesaler to buy them. You just have to hit a $69 minimum to get free shipping. But that could be like 9 Deco mesh rolls and maybe 6 ribbons. And then you'd have enough to maybe make about 6 wreaths out of all that, I'm guessing. It just depends on what technique you do. So I'm going to smash my bow just to make sure it's got that nice little pinch in there. You don't need to push it too hard because this will snap. So I'm going to take my time and do this now so it's ready to go, and just pull it out. There's my little mark. Slide it right over the top. And you just pinch it and then just use the ribbon as like your lever for that. So there's our bow. So we're gonna come back in right here. This is where this is gonna go. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this up. So I'm gonna pull these to the side so we can put our bow right in here. It's funny though, most of the time I don't put bows on, and I probably should. I think some need it and some don't. So I'm gonna kind of twist that a little bit, making sure I get it in at least 2 and a half. So I'm just going to lightly fasten that in, because now it's going to act as my fluff box, if you will. So it allows you to pull them in any direction you want them to go. So I kind of pull my tails off to the side. I just want them out of the way, like this one. Pull it down to the bottom. And because you fasten that in there with your pipe cleaner, you can pull these really good to get them to go where you want. So, and you usually pull them in opposite directions. Hey, you need to go below. So I'm trying to get them to go in between every single one. Fluffing, fluffing, fluffing. Getting those in between those. Taking my tail, kind of making it go off to the side. It's kind of twisted the wrong way, which is probably why it wasn't going that way. Through. It's just getting the tails down. And if you don't want to have super long tails, don't put super long tails through your bow maker. Just make them really short. You can make them shorter than your loop if you want, and they're easier to hide, they're easier to pull down. And so now I'm just going to fluff all my loops, fan out all my ribbons so that they don't look squished. And you can kind of have your ribbons go in and out of your curls so that this, move this stuff, is what it looks like. Just like so. Yeah, I noticed that too, Steve. The screen gets super, super white. Let me go ahead and zoom back out. It might be that's what's causing it, if I can. So I'm gonna move that back out. So, I do have a couple embellishments we can fit in. I have a couple little starfish. Have these little floats. This is like a box I got at Hobby Lobby that came with a whole bunch of different stuff in it. These seashells I got at Michael's. So I'm trying to find the opening. So if we wanted to, we can come back in. Trying to get the pipe cleaners to go where I want them to go. I want this to frame my sign. Doesn't want to look like it does that. Okay, might do that. Everything has to be in order to be pleasing to the eye in odd quantities. So if you're going to put something on a wreath, they always tell you, I think this one's way too big, to do it in 3s and 5s. because your eye is drawn to things that don't look, yeah, that's way too big, that don't look symmetrical. They don't look like they belong. So I'm thinking I might add this guy out to the outside. I might add a couple little pops of color to these. Will you glue to the pipe cleaner on the starfish? That's a good question, Dean. This one, I'm just going to actually glue him straight to the Deco mesh, or not the Deco mesh, but the burlap, because he's sitting on this, whatchamacallit, burlap ribbon, so that would fix him nice. This one, he could sit very well on the sign, so I might glue him to the sign. And then just add a couple of these little pops of these little driftwood pieces, although they don't need it. I'm looking to see if I have lighter colored ones. They have like little pieces of driftwood in here, but I don't like the driftwood pieces, but I do like the lighter pieces of the little floats. So I might just stick a couple of these in. So I will just take my glue gun and slab a generous dab of glue on there and kind of tuck that in. They make really good holders or good covers for your pipe cleaner. So if you have a little bit of the pipe cleaner showing, you can use those on your pipe cleaner. So there's that one. And I'm just going to attach this guy by his bottom two legs to the sign. So I'm just going to run a glue bead all the way down and right in the center. And make sure that I fasten him where he needs to go. Just like so. That's there. Add a couple more of these little beige things, beige floats. These were like fishing net floats, is what they are. They're like little pieces of driftwood. I'm just randomly tucking them in. So they just kind of add a little bit of a character. This is my favorite part of building the wreath now, is adding little pieces of embellishments. Yeah, you could do the sign plus 2 bows, but, Dean. See, I have all these seashells that we've collected. We have boxes and boxes and boxes of seashells. So I think I'm going to take one of these and stick him on my sign in the corner. Just like so. Because they're like treasures from the sea. And I think this box of floats, it actually had shells and starfish in it. I got it at Hobby Lobby for $14.99 with a 40% off coupon, and I've been able to dig in that bin for a very long time. So I'm just coming in and adding these little fun little pieces just randomly throughout the wreath. And I think that's what finishes your wreath out, is adding the little extras. Adding an extra bow. Adding little pieces of, you know, the ocean. And I'll add one more over here. So I'm just looking for random empty spots. And just kind of tucking them in. So like this one I added right next to a bow. This one I kind of tucked inside here. Just like little fun treasures to find. And I'm not liking putting anything else on there. So I think I am done. What do you guys think? You guys ready to see it on the door? To see what it looks like? Let me take you guys with me. I had 3 starfish, Steve, but it just looked odd. This one is like way too big. It's like almost half the size of my sign. So he's way too big. So I just went with 2 starfish and a seashell. And then I did the 2 bows. So I guess you could call it 5 with the little pops. I might go back in, I might not. If I can find a smaller starfish and maybe add him somewhere in here, maybe. Okay, let me show you guys what this looks like on the door. So let me go put it on the door and then I'll come back and get you. Okay. Now I will grab you guys, so bear with me for a moment. I'm going to disconnect my phone from the mount and show you guys. This is what it looks like. So Karen wants me to zoom. So there's the starfish. There's the other starfish in the sea, the seashell. And then just depending upon where you look, like you can see one of the floats right here up on the top. So there's my wonky starfish. I did ribbons. I'm reading Diana. I did ribbons on each section on the outside, not the inside. And I added the bows to 2 of the inside sections. Okay, I'm trying to scroll through the signs, the comments. Okay, so do you guys have any questions at all? That's what it looks like on a 36-inch door. This is probably a 25 to 26-inch wreath in diameter, and on the sides, that's how thick it is. So I'm guessing 6 to 6.5. So that's that. So awesome, Christine, I'm glad you learned a lot tonight. It's so much better in a smaller group because you can ask lots of questions. You can ask me to zoom in, you can ask me to zoom out. Generally I have help, so that person's like reading the comments and zooming in or out as they need to. So that's what we're working with. So I thank you guys for joining me. I believe next week, Wednesday, we're going to finish up our Etsy business class. We're going to finish some of the stuff that I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys about last time. Making sure that we're filling out our policies, our shipping stuff, and looking at stats and stuff like that. So, all right, guys, thanks for joining me tonight. And I will see you guys on Friday for the Friday Night Live. Talk to you guys later. Bye.